Hello and once again, welcome back to yet another edition of Qsports live on QTV with me, Pakaba Suso. And of course, my guest on the show this morning is no one else but Mr. Fode Mane, prominent Gambian journalist, renowned for his excellent work, especially with regards to players' transfers. And I have the honor and pleasure to have him on the program this morning. And we have plenty to talk about in this edition of Qsports this morning. Of course, we will be looking at some important transfers in relation to Gambian players, the likes of Badamosi, the likes of Adama Sidibe, and the likes of Abdoulaye Mane, to understand their current situations. We will also talk about the much highly anticipated event set to take place here in the Gambia, which is the AIPS Africa Congress. We will talk about the preparation levels, the importance of this international or continental Congress with Fode, of course, and we will reflect on the AFCON. As you know, CAF has responded very, very strongly to the chaotic scenes that happened at the AFCON 2025 finals in Morocco. Fode, welcome to the program.
Morning. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be on this platform.
Excellent, excellent. It has happened. It's going viral now. Of course, when you are around, we have to talk about transfers relating to Gambian players and try to understand. We are at that period of at that time of the period where we can talk about some of those big Gambian name players, the likes of Abdoulaye Mane, the likes of Badamosi. You know, you have been following their transfer situations. Can you first tell us about the situation of Abdoulaye Mane?
Yeah, for Abdoulaye Mane, like I've just posted this morning, we all know some few weeks ago he was very much reported about that he was even closer to joining English Championship clubs. One of them was the current leaders of the championship, that is the English Championship, Coventry City FC, under the coaching and guidance of Chelsea's legend, Frank Lampard. Going back to what he has done for his club, Mjällby IF, in the Swedish league, it's tremendous. You know, it's amazing. Looking at his contribution towards their successive season, you know, winning the title for the first time in their club history. He scored 7 goals and assisted 3 times, which was very, very amazing. So that really much put Abdoulaye Mane on the attention map. Of course, we have seen a lot of clubs have came in for him. The most interesting was even his controversial transfer, which fell through with Olympiacos, the Greek giants, where he was almost, you know, joining the club, and then even went for medical, and you know, after all, it was chaotic for him. He has to come back, and the deal went off. From there again, you know, clubs came in, you know, the likes of Bournemouth, even in the English Premier League, you know, Wolverhampton Wanderers, you know, were all interested from the English, from the English Premier League. For Bournemouth, even they were trying to explore the possibility of having him, you know, come in this winter. But you know, Premier League, it's having so much tight rules, and those rules need to be very much respected by the clubs and even the players. You know, he was supposed to meet certain points to be able to play in the Premier League, and when he did not, then it was very difficult for him to join Bournemouth, and that really much put Bournemouth out of the race. And then now it came to be Coventry City FC in the English Championship, who are currently leading the table. And they also pushed until agreed personal terms. I think for some details they couldn't agree with Mjällby, and then the deal went off. Of recent, we have also seen Birmingham City FC, also an English Championship club, which also came in. Everything was agreed, you know, with the club, you know, before even the player traveled to England to go for medical, and even personal terms were not even problem. But you know, when he went to England for some details to finalize the deal, it couldn't go again, and then that one also fell through. But since then, you know, the boy has kept his hope high, and also, you know, remained confident that hopefully before the end of this winter transfer window, he will be able to secure a new club for himself.
And obviously that is the player's desire right now.
Exactly, and that is why even right now, if you understand, might be already in camp for pre-season in Portugal, but he's not with them, and he stays in England to train and keep his fitness and prepare for what comes next. So as at this point, yesterday when I had a short interview with the sporting director of MIB, this is what he confirmed, that yes, Abdullah is currently in England training, and hopefully they are preparing to see if a club can agree with them soon before the transfer closes on February 12 in Sweden. Yeah. Then they can get him out. So yeah, that's all about Abdullah. Yeah.
And interestingly, you highlighted on the remarkable achievement he has with his club, Malby. And in terms of that achievement, in terms of the level of it, I mean, it is really, really special for a Gambian player to go there in the Swedish league, to deliver that kind of performance with a football club that is not the big name football clubs, if you like.
Yeah, looking at Malby itself, it's a very small, you can call it a town or city in Sweden, less than 5,000 people and all that, so very interesting about them and their history, and being part of the team that is going to win the first league title for them. It's amazing. Much more contributing immensely to that title, scoring 7 goals and being one of their best players over the time. It's something that really much earned him that attention. So I think he deserves it, and he has really much work for it.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Adama Sidibe. For Adama Sidibe, it has happened already. We can say that, right? Yeah. It has happened, and in fact, he has his debut with his new club. What is his feeling? What is your understanding of this move for him?
I think he is very, very happy, that he has taken the next step in his career. This is a player who was supposed to even leave since last winter, not even this one, not even the last summer as well. At some point, Swansea City also came in for him. We are very, very close to signing him, agreed personal terms, but the clubs could not agree, on a deal. And that really much frustrated him, and he was even away from training for some, days or weeks that he did not train with the club, But again, he kept his calm and, came back to the team and, took it from where he stopped. And then he was amazing last season, even though they ended up relegating, but he was so much contributing. And they relegated to the Scottish Championship. This season as well, he started playing very well, started most of their games, and even, at some point he was on goal drought. Fans were calling on him, but I could see the coach giving him a backing that let's give him a chance. He's a player that you don't need him to be scoring goals for you every time. But look at the impact that he
his work
does.
His work rate,
exactly.
The energy he brings.
Even looking at him at the Scorpions level, you see what he has now added to the front line of the Scorpions. So much competitiveness, So that's how he has been playing until he started scoring and also assisting. I think he has now 3 or 4 goals before leaving St. Johnstone, and then quickly Stockport County came in. A very notable club in terms of Gambian football. As we all know, Ibu Toure, was one of their best players before he moved to Bradford. So they secured a deal quickly, and he went, and most interesting about him, the day the deal was announced, that very day he featured and made his debut for the club. So Adama is amazing.
Yeah, such a good player. And one of those players who also have his ups and downs is Mohamed Badamosi. We understand that he also signed for a Latvian, in fact, the Latvian champion, Riga FC. He must be delighted.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, now he has found a place where he can also regain back his confidence and also start playing again, like he was doing in Saudi, with the club he was with. I think since leaving Saudi, Badamosi could not be the player that he wants to be when he went to Sweden, Swiss, with the Swiss club. Then he came again and joined the Saudi club. From there, he went back to Europe again and joined the Romanian giants, Cluj. And he was with Cluj, and then, I think he played only 1 or 2 games, before his contract, mutually got terminated, and now he joined Latvian champions Riga FC. I think now is the time to see Badamusi again, as we used to see him. I think this club will be something that he can use to regain the confidence back, and hopefully prepare for life after football. Hopefully, because I'm seeing him now getting much closer, to retirement. Much more at the international level. Because looking at the young players that are coming,
it seems like his chances are in fact almost over for
the national team. Absolutely, for me, I think,
Yeah, but one of my favorite strikers, Mohamed Badamusi.
Absolutely,
such a powerful football player.
Yeah.
All right. And with regards to Ibo Adams, he is also a big name player, especially in English football. He joined Portsmouth, as we understand, and in fact, that's a story that we can also see, as you normally phrase it. It has happened, but he has been a statement signing, isn't it, for Portsmouth?
Of course, for both player and club side, I think it's something that is very, very massive for them. Many were surprised how it came about quickly, because he was one of the best players for Derby County. Looking at what he has achieved with them.
At some point, even he was their captain, isn't it?
Yeah, last season throughout, he was their captain. And even this season, he served as the vice captain for the club. But again, seeing him move to Portsmouth, it's something that really much surprised, I can say some, because of what he was already doing with Derby. Not everybody was expecting that he could be leaving Derby any soon. But again, you're looking at the personal level, hopefully there is a lot of money banked on the table for him to tell him that yes, you come here, you help us as a struggling team trying to avoid relegation. You're one of the players we think can help us. You achieve that, we give you this, you get this. Hopefully the player is of course going to get convinced by that, and of course the team also believe a player like him, who is no nonsense, always fighting for everything, every bite that he plays for, will hopefully add something to them to help them to avoid relegation to the English League One. And I'm seeing now they've climbed a little bit from the relegation zone, and hopefully before the end of the season they will be in the middle of the table. But looking at Derby now, as of yesterday, they were in the playoff position. So I think that will also be another story for him to say, oh, if I had known, I would have stayed in Derby. Hopefully I will play in the Premier League. But we don't know.
Sometimes you never know.
How did he arrive at that decision?
And for the sake of curiosity and just for the sake of interest, just to wrap this issue quickly, like, how do you feel about this work you do, like in terms of trying to understand the transfer situations of these players, in fact Gambian players, domestically, internationally? Like what is the nature of the job for you, and what are some of the things you find interesting and challenging?
I think this work is about loving it. It's about being passionate in what you do, and for me as a young kid who is always growing, I like learning. I listen to people. People give me ideas. This is not magic. You have to listen to people. Some will come to tell you that, okay, this is good, this is bad. You have to listen. And of course, you have to also build contacts, and try to give respect to those that you work with. And once you give them the respect they deserve, they also, give you back the same thing. And they will be willing to work with you. So people see sometimes when the exclusives are posted, they'll be like, how did you get this? How did you know this? Even the players, sometimes they reach out to me and tell me that, how did you know this news? It is true, but how did you come to know this? But it's because of the respect you give to the contacts and the sources that you have. Obviously, when they get the news, they give it to you. And then you also have to respect that. And how do you respect that? I know some stories are very sensitive that you don't even want to let people know who give you the story, no matter how tough it is. So once you respect that, they will be willing to give you more and more again. And most interestingly, I see a lot of people say I don't talk about local football much. I don't talk about our league. Of course, we have people specializing in those areas as well, and they are doing very, very well, and they are really much helping to expose the players at the local level. Myself, I do it. And what I have interest in the most is when I have the numbers, the statistics. I think that is what also sell out the players out there. When you can give people that
factual statistics.
Exactly. This is what this player have been doing over the time. and that will really much sell him out there. So I love those things.
So do you have those challenges in terms of finding those numbers,
Yeah,
authenticating
yeah.
those numbers, because you cannot just put out a story
Exactly.
without verification?
Obviously, I have those challenges. Sometimes even a day before yesterday, somebody sent me about a player that he think deserve to be posted. He sent me the numbers. So when I looked at the numbers, I told him like, are these numbers really accurate? He told me very accurate. I said, I trust you. I said, and I will not want to put this out there. Somebody comes and tell me that this is not true, and he was like, no, honestly, it is true. Then I try to still go and do my further research to try to compare the numbers based on the numbers of the particular team that he plays for. And then I could see, yes, there are some similarities and even, some accuracy in it. Then I decided to post it. And now the post is really much doing well and people are really much paying attention to that player. Understand? So for the international players as well, there are a lot of them playing outside, doing really well. I think posting them, telling people that this is the achievement that they are doing, is also giving an idea to the decision makers, like the coaches, the national team coach. I remember a player reaching out to me at some point to tell me that, he's thanking me, but because if not for me, the national team coach would have not seen or even called him to the national team. I was like, oh, it has gone that big, that he's now seeing those things. But I know it's not only me. A lot of them are there. The KBs, the Chama, a lot of them are doing it. So I think we need to be respected for that. So Absolutely. It's not just about we posting players, but decision makers are also following. They don't know about some of these players, much more some that are born outside, but they are of Gambian descent. We post about them, tell people that this is a Gambian descent playing in this country or is born in this country. That give the coaches also decision to say, okay, let's follow this player. Hopefully, we'll be able to grab him to bring him.
In fact, it will really help the national team in terms of not just for the national team in all categories in identifying these players, early and try to get them to play for the national team. I think that is really important and quite interesting too. Thank you very much for the viewers. You are still watching Q Sports live on QTV with me, Pakaba Suso, and Fode Mane. Let's now talk about the AIPS Africa Congress happening here in the Gambia from the 6th to the 9th of February. It is very, very big. In fact, it is the first time that the Gambia is hosting this continental event. Tell us about the event itself and why Gambia.
Yeah, the AIPS Africa Congress is the biggest sport journalism, event, that you can have in the continent. This is a gathering that is bringing sport journalists from across, all the countries of Africa, coming together to discuss, to dialogue, to review their past activities, to also put up policies, to discuss about the development of sports, to also promote ethical journalism and ensuring that, the work of, sport writers are respected, is amplified, so it's a very bigger event that we are expecting to host in the Gambia, in a week time, and already preparations are in high gear at advanced level, as you could see the updates, the AIPS Africa President, Mr. Abdoulaye Boubou Thiam, from Senegal, was already in the Gambia on Thursday, and he has already been engaged by the local organizing committee, going around to see the facilities where this event will be hosted, as well as where we will be hosting the guests and everything. So it's going to be historic. It's going to be a very landmark event that we are expecting to host in the Gambia for the first time, like you said, in the history of the country, and having all sport journalists, not only journalists, but even sport stakeholders, like from the CAF level, from the FIFA level, and from the Olympic, everything, that you can consider sports.
Government representatives,
coming together, government representatives,
for
ministers, everything coming together. You could see already we started posting some of the guest speakers we'll be having, from the Minister of sports in Ghana, you have a lot of personalities coming, high dignitaries, attending this event. It's a huge event that, is coming to the Gambia from the 6th to 9 February 2026.
And for the Gambia to host such an event, what can we draw from that?
Of course, it's going to place the Gambia sport journalism first on the map. Of course, it's going to tell people that we have sport journalists that really putting the sports of Africa at another level. We have seen recently, seeing a lot of our sport journalists being part of, events that are organized outside of the country, attending competitions like events of AFCON, the Olympics, having even within, the QTV here, having a whole team going to attend, the Olympic Games, the Commonwealth Games, the Islamic Solidarity Games, and now, coming down to have, an event of this magnitude, and it is hosted by those people. It's obviously telling people that yes, the Gambia also has, that I can say status to amplify the voices of sports in Africa. The other thing is also going to place the Gambia as a destination for tourists as well. We all know a lot of people are coming, and now some are coming for the first time to see what exactly the Gambia can offer. And hopefully, that will be a gateway to also, open something for sport tourism in this country. For me, I think that is one of the things that, the government and all the stakeholders need to really much venture into to make sure that the Gambia becomes a destination for sport tourism. And this is an event that we can use to make sure that this thing happen. And, it's also going to, even in terms of the athletes, it's going to also expose some of them, to the wider world, to know these are some of the athletes that we have here who are really doing remarkably well outside, whether with their clubs or whether with the national team. These are some of the athletes we have that people don't know about. But through this event, people will come to know all these things. And they will come to, most importantly, is to know the collaboration between the government and other stakeholders in terms of advancing sports in this country. So I think it's an event that really much we are looking forward to.
Yeah. And of course, we know as the host, the Gambia Sports Journalists Association is really at this period very, very busy. I understand that the Gambia Sports Journalists Association Executive Committee has established subcommittees or organizing committees for this important event. In fact, you are part of the media team, if I'm correct. Yeah. Tell us, at the level of the media team, what are some of the works you are doing currently in terms of promoting this event?
Yeah, I think we have done a lot so far. We were able to come up with interesting content to let people know, because, okay, for many, they hear AIPS Congress, but even within the journalism fraternity, some do not know what exactly the AIPS Congress is about. Understand? So, but we try to let people know what this event is about by, going onto platforms, discussing the issue and letting people know, okay, this is what the AIPS Congress is all about. And what we also do is to let people know what to expect from the event. And you could see a few weeks ago we started posting about some of the interesting conversations we'll be having on football, on Olympics, on even the legendary discussion. We will be having a section, called the Gambia Corner, where we will be talking about the history of the players that have passed long since and their stories, what they have achieved for the country and all that. We will have a section which I'm really much looking forward to. Pele, my teammates, is a Gambian who one time played with Pele, the great Pele, the Brazilian Pele. And he will also be on the platform to tell us his journey, and also, he's playing time with Pele and all that. That is to inspire the younger generation, understand? So we have posted all those
inspiring sports stories.
Exactly. We have posted all those things to let people know this is what they should expect from the AIPS Congress. And also, we also engage content creators. We have
you did that.
Prominent, we have prominent content creators that really have their platform and they are well followed. People are
in fact,
engaging with them.
You had a point, because I came across a video.
Yeah.
That guy who normally do some sports content, like that voice guy,
Exactly.
that Gambian guy, I think he's really doing well. He was talking about the event.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, you have him, and you have Chama of Jollof Bantaba. You have Motorsports. Another brother in Sweden. They're all doing well. So we engage them to bring them on board. Let them also talk about the event to their audience and those that are following them. And you could see now already a lot of people now started knowing that, okay, this is what the AIPS Congress is about.
Exactly.
And at our own level, we try to bring up so much of interesting posts. We even created a Facebook page strictly dedicated for the event. And you could go there and see, the page is named AIPS Africa Congress Banjul, and then you could see a lot of interesting posts that we have already made. So we try to go on TV stations as well. We have been even on QTV here on the Good Morning Show, and we discussed about the event directly to the public that are following. We have been on GRTS as well, and Star TV. So all those things are the work of the media committee. So if you go to other committees as well, they're also doing their own engagements, and we are periodically updating about that. They're going to meet people of their various activities to talk to them about this event, to bring them on board, collaboration, partner, to make sure that this thing becomes a successful gathering in the history of the country. Okay. So yeah, everything is going well at this stage.
And initially you make mention of some of the inspections and some of the works the president has done, like the president of AIPS Africa, you said, who came to the Gambia for a work visit. And what are some of his impressions in terms of the work the organizing committee has done so far?
Yeah, but again, before we even get to him, I think we need to first try to also talk about the president of the SGAG himself, Mr. Omar Jaju, who is always on the neck of all the committees to make sure that the work is always done. The work is always done. Myself, we are led by Gajaga, at QTV. Yeah, he's the chairperson of the media committee, but like he's on leave and enjoying his holiday. I told him that we don't want to distract you, so I'm always I'm always trying to make sure that I'm in touch with Umar and update Gajaga that this is what is happening. So it was going smoothly, but every time he's always there to make sure that things happen right. Yeah. So when the president of AIPS Africa was due to arrive in the Gambia, he informed and told us that yes, we need to be there to cover the arrival and make sure that everything is proper and standard. We said no problem, and we deployed our team to go to the airport to welcome him. But like when he arrived, his first impression was that how he sees the organization, how we welcomed him, and he knew very well that if he could be given that welcoming, just for a visit, for a working visit, maybe for 2-3 days. How about when the event itself is happening? That is going to be massive. So his first impression was like, he feel like even taking the aeroplane and going back to Senegal, not to worry about anything again. So that alone tells us, big thing that we have done a lot, so far. Somebody was very much impressed with the SGAG, with the local organizing committees, with the government who has opened up their door to make sure that this thing happen, even referencing from his meeting with the president, where he told him about this event that they want to host it here, and the president welcomed it and told him, whatever you need, I'm gonna provide it for you. And that is what exactly is happening. The event will be now hosted at the main conference center at the Sadada Kairaba Jawara Conference Center, and we have hotels that are top hotels, 5-star, that will be hosting the guests. Everything is intact as at this point. So he was very much impressed. Yesterday he was at the conference center, visited the place, and from the look of the things, the way he was even explaining, you could know that he is very happy.
He is very pleased.
Yeah, he's very happy with the preparation so far ahead of the event.
Beautiful. And you make mention of the role the SGAG is currently playing and the openness of the Gambia government in terms of supporting this event. Did you guys establish or have like other partnership geared towards promoting this event?
Yeah. There are partners, both private and public. We have them, that we are working closely with to make sure that this event becomes a success.
Because it's obviously
because
massive.
It's not
financially, in fact, it's very heavy.
Exactly. It is not just for SJAG. There's just a section of people, you know, within the country. But this is, like I said at the beginning, this for the whole country. You know, imagine after the event where this is going to place us. This is just like the OIC summit. You know, it's just like the COP10 or the other high-level events that we have hosted here. So it is just the same. You know, it is the whole continent, and even beyond. We're expecting guests from Asia, from America, from Europe, that are all coming to attend this event. So it is something that is going to place the country at another level, at another place. So it is not just about SGAG, it's about everyone. So that is why we have partners from the government and to the private, you know, sector. We have all of them working closely with us to ensure that, you know, this event becomes a success. Yeah,
and I see Musa Sise there also, part of the team at the airport, and his role too is really visible and vital, isn't it?
Yeah. He's the secretary of the IPS Africa, you know, and the former, you know, president of the SGAG. So that tells you how important he is in this event, and very, very important. He has also been very, very incredible and supportive, you know, since the start of these preparations, you know, closely working with Umar as the members of the central working group. And yeah, he has been at the airport, at the welcoming, you know, very, you know, accommodative with everyone, you know, trying to make sure that things happen as it should be. So yeah, he's the former president and also currently the secretary of AIPS. I know he must and always will be in the center of this issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and finally, what are the expectations from this event, especially like you make mention some of the themes that are going to be discussed in this continental event? They are very, very important for all stakeholders involved in sports. You make mention of promoting ethical journalism. You make mention of promoting good sports administration or governance. These are some of the main items that are going to be talked about. Like in terms of expectations, in terms of like outcomes of this event, can you highlight on that?
Yeah, I think in terms of the expectations that we will be looking forward to is one is about trying to put up policies and programs that would really much, you know, shape the future of sport journalism in the Gambia and also in Africa at large. You know, so that is one, and also, you know, we will also hope that, you know, it becomes a platform that is really much going to announce the country, you know, much more the sports journalism in this tiny West African country to the wider world. That is something else, you know,
and I like that part.
Yeah, so this for me, I think it will not be much better than this, because for in terms of the ethics, you know, and the development of sports, of course, that is going to be something we are going to discuss. But ethics is something that you have to go with every day, and even if it is not discussed there, we expect every colleague and journalist on that platform to make sure they maintain the ethics of the work.
So it's just about improving the standard.
The most important thing is to shape the future of sport journalism in Africa. And at the end of the day, we expect that there will be programs and policies that will be tabled, that will be approved by everyone, that will be now the cornerstone to make sure that sport journalism become the bright light of everything in Africa. The number two is to place the Gambia on the map of sport journalism in the world. Yeah.
And what is your final message? Do you have any message to say on this on the event before we receive our attention to something else?
Yeah, I think, you know, it should be an event that everybody should take ownership of. It's not just sport journalists. Let's not just say, okay, it is the moment we say journalists, it is the event of journalists. No, it should be an event for everyone. Everyone should take ownership of this. Wherever you are in this country, wherever you are on this world, you know, if you're a Gambian, you are staying in the US, you are in the Europe, you are in Asia, take this as your event, as it is going to boost the country to another level. And once the Gambia is at another level because of sport journalism hosting international press in the country, you know, it means everything for all of us. So I think my message to the Gambians should be, let's take ownership of this event. It's just few days or a week to go, you know, but, you know, from now on, a lot of things can happen. Everybody can make sure that there is a booze and noise about this. And let everybody know that the Gambia is hosting the AIPS Africa Congress.
It's a big boss.
Exactly.
It's a big boss. Of course, it is happening here at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center from the 6th to the 9th of February, the AIPS Africa Congress. It is massive. It is big, as Fodi pointed out. It is not about the Gambia Sports Journalists Association or Sports Journalists. This is about the Gambia, and everyone should consider it as their own, as their event. It is just like any other continental or international event that has a lot of economic gains, that has a lot of benefits for the entire population and the entire Gambian people. And in fact, it will explode the Gambia positively when it comes to, in fact, sports tourism. So I think that is really, really important, and I think the message is clear and loud for everyone. All right, you are still watching Q Sports here on QTV with me, Pakaba Suso, and Fode Manning. Let's now talk about our final itinerary of the program, which is the AFCON, which recently ends at rather in Morocco, where Senegal were crowned champions again, and in a controversial fashion. Now, because of the chaos that happened in the final between Senegal and Morocco, remember the Senegalese coach Pape Thiaw ordered his players to leave the pitch because of the referee's decision to award the host Morocco a controversial penalty found on Brahim Diaz. In fact, as Mr. Ade reports, now CAF have taken a very, very strong stance on what happened that day in the AFCON final. Let's hear him in this report, and then we buttress and talk about the development.
The final, which saw Senegal crowned champions, was marred by controversy when Senegal's coach, Pape Thiaw, ordered his team off the pitch in protest at the award of a penalty against them. The match was delayed by 17 minutes before play resumed. Brahim Diaz eventually took and missed the penalty, and Senegal went on to win the title with a goal scored by Pape Gueye. Now, following a disciplinary review, CAF has suspended Coach Thiaw for 5 official matches and fined him $100,000 for unsporting conduct and for bringing the game into disrepute. 2 Senegal players, Iliman Ndiaye and Ismaila Sarr, have each received 2 match bans for their behaviour towards the referee. In addition to the fines handed to the players and the coach, Senegal's Football Federation has been hit with multiple fines totaling over $600,000 for poor conduct by players, staff and fans, violation of fair play, integrity and sportsmanship. Meanwhile, the Moroccan Football Federation has also come under fire. Star player Achraf Hakimi has been handed a 2-match ban with 1 match suspended for a year, while Ismail Saibari received a 3-match suspension and a $100,000 fine. CAF also penalized Morocco's federation $315,000 for incidents including the invasion of the VAR area by players and staff, including attempts to snatch towels of goalkeepers in 2 matches, and the disruptive behavior of supporters using lasers during matches. Finally, a protest lodged by Morocco over Senegal's conduct was reviewed and rejected by the CAF disciplinary board. Morocco had sought to have the title either seized from Senegal or have the match replayed. The incident marks one of the most heavily sanctioned finals in AFCON history, casting a shadow of what should have been a celebration of African football excellence. For Morocco, despite recording record viewing figures, it has caused some to question their co-hosting with Spain and Portugal of the 2030 World Cup.
Interesting, absolutely interesting. Immediate reaction with regards to the ban and suspensions of Senegal's coach Pape Thiaw and some of the players, Iliman Ndiaye and Ismaila Sarr.
Yeah, I read the communique from CAF.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday or day before yesterday, something like that. For me, it was not surprising.
It was not surprising.
Yes,
the magnitude of the bans and the fines.
Exactly, because I know we also need to look at the magnitude of where they happen. Understand?
Yeah, the level.
Exactly, the level of where these things happen, where the scenes happen. We are talking about the final of the African Cup of Nations. And all this chaotic happen, you know, at the back of a very organized and interesting event. And then you come up to just the last 90 minutes of all the 1 month that has been there, you know, then this thing happen. So obviously, you know, those involved, we expect that CAF is going to put those hefty fines on them, you know. And for me, it is for this to serve as an example to all the nations on the continent that could be participating in AFCON, you know, in the next edition or years to come. You know, that is to know that if you involve yourself in anything of such, you know, you could also face the same thing. There is no mercy for it. They're not going to compromise. Understand? So because, you know, it's not good for the image of the continent. It's not good for the image of football in general. You know, like I said, how interesting the event was from the start. You know, to
what was supposed
final
to be
day, what was
successful
supposed
Africa Cup of Nations.
Exactly, and then you just come to the last 90 minutes. You know, things turn out to be like this. So I wasn't surprised, honestly. I wasn't surprised. I know, you know, before this decision, people were talking about, you know, the Senegalese team being banned from World Cup and all that. So I was just like, oh, you know, those are just, you know, statements that people are making, but that is not something possible. But I know exactly the hefty fans will come, you know, and when they come, they will come heavily. And now that's what exactly happened. You could see about 1.30-something million has been imposed on both teams, you know. That is huge money for CAF anyway. And they're not going to be losers in this thing. And I saw like, you know, some commenting, why is the referee not also, you know, facing, you know, something like this. But, you know, let's
in fact, he was cleared.
Yeah, he was cleared. Of course, he is cleared because we have seen the referees making mistakes. And for me, the penalty is a valid penalty. Understand?
The one given
to Morocco is a valid penalty.
And how about the goal Senegal scored?
Exactly, it's a goal. Understand? I would take it as a goal, a valid goal.
So the referee was wrong in that instance.
The referee was wrong in that instance for me. Understand? But we have seen scenarios of that at the highest level. You know, and the next day they will be given even the much bigger game again. They will officiate. You know, he's everything that that everyone will agree with is that he should have given a chance to VAR to review that goal even within 5 seconds and then get back to him to tell him that no, it's not a goal, it's a goal. Understand? But he was very quick to blow his whistle. And when that happened, he cannot consult VAR again. Now we move away from that. Those are mistakes we see referees doing.
So in a sense, there is nothing that justifies
the
actions of the Senegalese coach and the players.
And the players, of course. I will not be a fan of a coach who will tell his players to leave a pitch even at local football level.
And strangely, I found
much more at that level. You know, when you see yourself in a chaotic issue, just because a penalty is awarded, and you were thinking you should have been given a goal, and that was not given. A penalty is awarded; it's a valid penalty, and now you are telling your players to go in. You know, thanks to Sadio Mane, who stood and, you know, engaged a few people. They told him no. He called his colleagues to come back to the pitch, and if they had gone out completely, including Sadio, that would have been damaging.
It could have been
for African football, but also for Senegalese football. You know, but you know, thanks to him, and now he becomes the hero. You know, I'm not even talking about Pape Gueye who scored the goal, but everything has to be given to Sadio Mane.
And do you think like the action of Pape Thiaw triggered the anger of some of those Senegalese fans who were there, who were, you know, destroying all the stuff around?
Yeah, of course, because if you as the coach cannot control the momentum at that point,
especially the emotions.
Yes, of your players and even your fans, because the fans, we need to understand, it is what they see, that's what they react to. Understand? And when they see you in that emotional way or anger, telling your players to go inside the tunnel, of course, them too, they will take it as something that is not fair towards, you know, the nation, towards the team, and what they can do, they will do. And that's what exactly happened. We could see, you know, when that chaotic issue was happening on the third line, the fans were also taking, you know, chairs hitting each other. And I think 2 or 3 of them were even rushed quickly to the hospital at that point in time. And, you know, it was very, very chaotic. It was very, very shameful, you know, for African football. But again, this is a good example set by CAF that now every team that is playing at such a level will know that you have to be mindful. If you see yourself in such issue, it could even be bigger than this. You might even face much heavy fines than Senegal and Morocco are facing right now. So I think it's a kind of sending an example.
Clear message.
Yeah.
And for the hosts, Morocco, who have been a very good host, almost up to the latter stages of the tournament. They also, they were not spared. They also had their moments, in fact, for the wrong reasons. Hakimi, fine and banned. And Senegal, the Moroccan Federation too. And also with regards to the incident, those two incidents, I find those two incidents really funny. The incident where some of these Moroccan players went to the VAR area, and the towel issue, the ball boy towel issues, who were trying to steal the Senegalese goalkeeper's towel frequently. I mean, that should be a very, very disappointing thing, shameful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, those are things you see in football. For me, I think if the situation has not gone in that way, I'm not sure that towel issue would have even become a case.
So you feel like because of what happened?
Because of what happened, now the towel issue has also become, because we see those things happen. But boys, even at the under 17
So you feel like that was not intentional?
Yeah, I see that at the under 17 AFCON, where Tunisia were playing against one of the teams, is it Mali? The Tunisians will go take away the goalkeeper's glove, because the place is wet and they use it to wipe their gloves and everything. So they will take it away, and I've not seen anything said about that and all those things. So I know those are things happening to make sure that distract the goalkeepers even and all those things. You see fans behind the goalkeepers throwing them, bottles,
like objects, stuff like that.
Yes, objects and papers and everything. That is all to distract them. It's part of the fans' distraction. And the ball boys, we know they are Moroccans. Most of them, and they support Morocco. So they will make sure that how best they can see their country win. Even in wasting time, they do it. When the ball goes out in a case of sending the ball in quickly, they ignore the ball, and all those things happen. But for me, that would have not been a case if the situation have not gone. But when the situation went in that way, now we have to go and look at which player also was involved in that. And we have seen Hakimi, went in for the towel and threw it away. And we have seen Saberi, came in to take the towel, but Diouf was there to protect, Mendy. And we've seen the ball boys follow him to get the towel from him. But at the end of the day, he kept the towel.
Interesting. And would you say, because of this thing that happened, this scenario that happened, do you think it has entirely affected the success of the 2025 AFCON in 1 minute, please?
No, I'm not sure. I think after all, we all need to, every African needs to just, celebrate Sadio Mane. He protected, I think, at least 40% of that by, letting his teammates come back to the field to play, and then now what we will all end up waiting for is what is CAF going to do about it. And now CAF has done something about it, So I think every credit goes to Sadio Mane for doing that act that really much protected the image of the tournament and also the image of the continent.
So he's not only the savior of Senegal.
Senegal is the savior of African football.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Fode, that's all we have time for. Final message, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pa. I think it's a pleasure to share a platform with you. One of the cause I've been looking, towards meeting, and today we are here. I've always been here, but it's special also sharing it with you.
Same.
Thanks to all the viewers watching QTV, and thanks to all the followers of Fode4. I'm always appreciative of them. They're always there to make sure that they get the right things on time from that platform. And for those also looking forward to the IIPS Congress, let's make it ours, and let's make sure we celebrate this event and let it become history in the history of the country. Inshallah. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Fode Mane. Thank you very much for coming, and of course for telling us the preparation levels, the importance of the AIPS Continental event happening here in the Gambia from the 6th to the 9th of February 2026. So this is a national event and everyone should consider it as such. Well, viewers, this is all we have got time for in this edition of Qsports with me, Pakaba Suso, and my very good colleague and friend, Fode Mane. Until next Saturday, same time, same frequency, same place. Bye-bye.